Midnight Sky. Let's stay in space. We're going to be
Ooh,
talking George Clooney's directorial debut. First
no, no, no,
time.
no, not his debut.
Really?
He's directed many movies, man. What are you talking about?
Oh, I guess first direct movies directed in a long time, right? What's been the most
Few
recent?
years. Suburbicon 2017.
Ah,
That,
okay.
well, and that's kind of the rub with Clooney as a director. It's not the best run for him. We have Leatherheads, The Monuments Men, pretty bad film. Suburbicon was a miss thematically. Ides of March with Gosling is like pulpy and fun. And I remember liking it at the time, but I know it's kind of a polarizing movie as well.
I'm realizing I don't know if I've actually ever seen any of these.
Good Night and Good Luck. So,
Yeah. Good. I
but
mean, I've heard of some of these, but I don't. I guess I wasn't aware he
it's
directed
it
because I don't
is
think
his
I've ever
first
watched
acting role since he did two of them in 2016.
Hal
Notably would be
Caesar.
Hail Caesar with
Yeah.
the Coens. Um, but like if you think about the Clooney as an actor, like you have that moment, you have his side role in Gravity, which was good. You have to go back all the way to 2011 with The Descendants and '09 with Up in the Air, where you think of like notable Clooney acting performances. So The Midnight Sky being a movie coming out on Netflix, directed by Clooney, whatever, but like starring Clooney, uh, was notable. And like, this kind of just drops on December 23rd to like minimal fanfare. You know, it's like, man, this is a big deal. And
Well,
movie could have been better, but it's a big deal.
well, I think that's the thing I was going to ask is, do you feel like the movie was good enough to really receive that praise? Because while I went into this, and I'm just going to preface by saying a lot of people mentioned to me that they did not like this movie prior to me seeing it, and
Mhm.
I kind of went in expecting it to be really bad. I didn't think it was really all that bad, but I do think
Right.
it just kind of felt a little boring at times. I think it felt uh, like some of the character decisions I didn't totally get, um, and I think the twist was pretty. I think I saw it coming, but
Yeah.
I don't know how other people responded to that.
Right.
What did you think about the movie?
Yeah. I mean, so I found it entertaining. Like there's some flaws, there's holes to poke, but I was most struck with how the movie kind of shifts when we were barely back in the Arctic with Clooney and this girl in this the substation, the travel and stuff. And like next thing you know, we're just in this spaceship with Felicity Jones and friends, and it's like,
Mm.
oh, Kyle Chandler. It's like I thought this was like a slow, methodical character movie with Clooney. I didn't know like there's this whole other side plot. Like it really just became the other A plot. And like I think structurally wise, maybe there was things that changed here. But to me, the weakest stuff was the flashbacks where you see young
Oh
Clooney, and
yeah.
it's like I felt like that's didn't do anything. Like, it was not necessary at all. And like I think there was some really cool potential that was missed with the Midnight Sky because again because they get away from it by shifting priorities of the plots. But like early on, right, Clooney is like pulling himself a bowl of cereal, and he like looks behind himself, and there's already a bowl there, and like, oh, okay, he's losing his
He's
mind.
losing
He's
his
by
mind, right?
himself here alone while he's waiting to die. Interesting. Okay. Next thing you know, oh no, there's a kid there with him. It was the kid, the cereal. And then you realize at the end of the movie with the twist, oh no, he really was losing his mind. Like he did make the second bowl and stuff. And I was like, there was so much more meat on that bone. But
Yep.
we're kind of distracted with all this stuff in space. We didn't have time for it.
Yeah, I agree. I think first of all, Ethan Peck, which I'm pretty sure is Gregory Peck's like grandson,
Ooh,
plays the young
pedigree.
yeah, plays the young George Clooney in this, and I just felt like all of those scenes were so like incredibly wooden. And I get that the character was supposed to be just kind of like a very like reserved guy who was like singularly focused on these, trying to follow his professional pursuits and never really take time for his own life. And that's kind of what we get with these hallucinations that George Clooney is dealing with. And I think, well, I think that there was definitely, I agree, a lot more to explore there. The movie almost kind of gets bogged down into, like you said, the stuff in space and then just like the journey to the other place. Like I would have liked to have seen Clooney, I think, a little bit more um, able to like chew on the things that were going around. I felt
Yeah,
like we kind of got him like having to like save this thing or dive underwater and try to save his like dialysis pack, or I think that was dialysis,
something
right?
like
Like,
that. Yeah,
yeah, never really explained. And I think that stuff kind of gets caught up. Like one of the most affecting moments to me was when um they find that ship, right? Or that was it a spaceship or airplane that had crashed, and you know
yeah.
the
It was like a big jet.
yeah, and the pilot's like there, and then I think like a storm comes through, and Clooney thinks he loses the little girl, and then he finds her, and he's like, "Oh, I thought I lost you." And like that moment, I was like really like on the edge of my seat, like. Is he gonna like find this little girl? Like, what's gonna happen? Then when he finds her, there's really like the sense of I think this is one of Clooney's like strongest acting moments in the movie. Is he's just totally relieved and like
Mhm.
a bit distraught, and getting that I was like I want to see him like grappling with this more, what this little girl actually means to him, and you kind of I guess get that wrapped up at the end, but it feels like it doesn't hit emotionally the way it should, because I think we do get caught up in the person dying in space. They're kind of doing like a Martian-esque like space travel back, and
Yeah,
then I got totally caught up in Kyle Chandler and I forgot the other guys,
right.
uh, those two characters deciding to go back to Earth. I was just
Hmm.
like, come on, like this is ridiculous.
Well, and that was the thing too. All the stuff up in space, I kind of think it's pretty fun, looks good, good talent, but it's all pastiche. It's all stuff we've seen before that, like up in space stuff, and like culminating to that set piece. Like, oh wow, really shocked to see the asteroids come back.
Right.
Really shocked to see one of them die as a result. Like everyone saw that coming.
Hmm.
Um, but like, I think the ship also provides some like cool cinematography moments, like the stuff with the ladder in the ship when they're like traveling through and like the center, like looked pretty cool. And I think there were some cool shots in the beginning of the Arctic station, and even like the scores from Alexander Day Plot, like it's not like a nothing score either. But I think we really just stick with that ship for a little too long, in my opinion, because I think that the potential of the Clooney character was just more interesting because there's nothing really new happening out in space. Notably, they had to rewrite this movie to make Felicity Jones' character pregnant because she was pregnant in real life. Thought that was kind of funny.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely interesting. What did you think of Felicity Jones in this movie? I mean, it's really at the first time I can remember seeing her since Rogue One in a major
Ooh.
role.
Yeah, it's all right. Um,
It just felt like she didn't get a lot to work with.
no,
She's second build, and it's like, what's her part?
yeah, I mean they're just kind of moving plot. Like all they're doing is dealing with the what Clooney's communicating to them, right? And
Uh-huh.
like the whole stuff with like, oh, we're gonna turn around, we're gonna restart the human race on that Jupiter moon, because I'm pregnant, we can keep it going. And it's like, um, again, that maybe that could have been cool. Again, shades of Interstellar, but like, it's really rushed through.
Uh-huh.
So I still enjoyed watching it, but I think uh, script's just okay, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, I think for what people told me it was going to be like, and what ended up being, I was pleasantly surprised, but
Mhm.
still not a movie that I think will be on our top 10, which we'll be talking about next week for our top 10 of the year 2020.